Now, I've done all the math, or at least I've done most of the math. I've done most of the research. It's just a matter... I have to attack this Siren 1,300 times without dying. 1,300 times. I know how to bait its attacks to make it always use the laser attack, aka it will never summon the creature to attack alongside it. It will never use the music notes, and most importantly, it will never heal. The greatest challenge of this run, at least so far, I did what I could. I tested what I could test. I could not reasonably find a way to make the watering can do any more than 1 damage per attack. So, at an average rate of 3 attacks per minute, on average, this will only take, oh, I don't know, still several hours. 2 attacks per minute would be almost 11 hours. Although at this rate, it's apparently 4 per minute. Something more to the tune of 4 attacks per minute is something more... Uh-oh. And yes, I will use rewinds if I feel like I have to. 4 attacks a minute seems about right. So that's about 4 hours of fighting this. Four hours of fighting, making sure to ensure that most importantly, it never heals. So, I found out how to make it only use water laser attacks, so that got past the healing issue and the summon issue. And as well as the note issue. I mean, there were really a lot of issues. This is the best attack for me for it to do constantly. I can pretty darn reliably dodge it. I've only been hit by it once so far. Yeah, you just have to be at least like a quarter turn away from it. There you go. So, 14 hits. Yeah. And then there's the issue of, how am I going to do 1,300 attacks? How many attacks can I even do? Well, using basically my entire rune bar, rounding down a little bit for safety, with 100 rune points, I can get just over 120 attacks. So, really, it's like 122 for 98 rune points, so basically 120 attacks with the full rune bar. Find it flippantly. And it takes 5 HP per attack if I'm out of rune points. With my current max health of about 730-ish. There we go. that doesn't exactly bode well for me. Oh, oh. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get more than one attack in when it does this, but it's like the issue is that you have to be closer to it in order to do multiple attacks, but if you're any closer to it, it might not use a water jet attack. Sometimes you just gotta count yourself lucky for doing the one attack that you can. No, 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 no. Woohoo, 2 attacks! Yeah, there we go. No, you don't. Alright. So, I did a bunch of research, basically. Because with my maximum amount of rune points as they stand, and with maximum HP, fine. With my current maximum amount of rune points and health, I can deal about 267 attacks. That was the number that I found. Only 267 attacks before I'm out of health and magic, and I've got nothing else to show for it. My controller has decided to disconnect here. Okay, that was terrifying. Wait a second, do I have it in a loop? I might have it stuck in a loop. Okay, no. So, if I can manage to keep attacking it twice each time it comes up, so that means I can definitely get my attacks in a heck of a lot faster. So I'm looking at 4 attacks a minute, which would be 4 hours of this. I start this at 2:30 in the flippin' morning. Why? Because I want to get this done. I am going to kill this siren with a watering can. I am going to water this mermaid to death. How exactly? That's a good question. How do I manage to not run out of health and rune points? I mean, Look at me. 50 attacks in, I've already used up almost half of one of my bars. I've even admitted that I only really have 267 attacks. Well, that's if I don't use any healing. If you've been paying attention to the Let's Play so far, you would notice that I have... No, you don't. You would notice that I have had, that I have potions, 2 potion bottles. Now, I only filled them up with mid potions. I could have filled them up with high potions. But I only did mid powers. Okay, 1/26 of the way there. It only took almost 11 minutes. You know what? The top one is difficult. Difficult to get from the left, specifically. And as soon as she starts the animation for the attack, I rush it. I did a lot of calculations. Strictly speaking, the best, between pharmacy stuff I could make and recipes I could make, the best thing that I could make for restoring health and wound points in terms of number of attacks I would get is Invincioid. I get something to the tune of 127 extra attacks for each Invincioid I use. And since I have ability to use dupes, I could very well see what I find then. Since I have access to dupes, strictly speaking, and I do have all of the stuff, or I can find all the stuff to make an Invincioid, I could, you know, clone myself an infinite amount of Invincioids. And then I wouldn't have to worry. Because, you know, I'm only missing, about 1,000 or so attacks. I definitely have enough. But I didn't want to dupe stuff if I didn't have to. I wanted to try making stuff that I could actually, say, make, or buy stuff that I could actually buy. In which case, out of just ingredients that I can buy in town, because I do want to do this faster rather than slower, the most efficient item to make would be udon. All you need is 1 thing of flour, and you can make a food that heals, what was it, 10 health and 24 wound points. I think it was. Yeah, 31 extra attacks per udon. That's what the calculation was. "31 extra attacks, that sounds pretty good." However, the shop that sells flowers is closed on Mondays. Happens to be Monday today. So, I can't buy any flour. And again, I want to do this now. I don't want to wait a whole extra day to do it. I want to do it now. So yeah, I took it upon myself to find what was best out of what I could get. What could I get? I could get eggs and milk, and I have the stuff to, you know, thus make cheese and mayonnaise and... What's the other thing I get from milk? Butter, I think. Maybe. I think it's cheese and butter I can make from milk. You know. Milk and eggs. There is something very useful that I could have gotten for milk and eggs. But it turns out you can also buy it. It's a person who runs a shop down at the beach. We've never been there, actually. We were invited to go way back at the start of the game. We just never went. There was never really a need to buy anything from there until right now. I did the calculations. And I would need... I think it was 8.8 stacks. In addition to 2 high potions, or mystery potions, whatever. And in addition to having like full health and full boon points. And that would give me just enough total attacks to win. Yeah, you have to do your first attack while her attack is happening. Or else it's not good enough. Well, so, yeah. Turns out, there's a food. It heals not such great amounts. But it does still give you boon points, which is useful. I don't have my notes up right now, because I'm, you know, too busy gaming, to remember exactly how many attacks each one gave. All I remember it was with 8.8 stacks, there was enough. So of course I got 20 stacks of ice cream. You might be wondering, if you want too focused on the ice cream to bother looking, where all my air attack went off to. My controller died again. I tried a different save. I tried running some tests to see if having 100 air attack would let me do even so much as 2 damage with this watering cannon. It does not. This rate, what would this be? About 100 attacks in like 20 minutes? More or less, supposedly. Something to that effect. So yeah, I have the money to just buy just an excessive amount of ice cream. So I figure, why not? So basically 20 minutes for 100. Basically. So what's 20 minutes times 13? I mean... Okay, 20 minutes times 3 is an hour. And then an hour times 4 would be about 4 hours. It's about 4 hours and 20 minutes is what this is looking like on estimate right now. 4 hours and 20 minutes. I got 20 stacks of ice cream. So it should be done at about 7 a.m. This just reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. They told me it couldn't be done. No, wait, scratch that. They told me it shouldn't be done. As long as I don't particularly deviate from the plan, as long as I don't, you know, start using up a whole lot of excess runes for stuff that I don't need it for. As long as everything follows the plan excessively well, I'm fine. Even if I get hit by the stuff, so what? Shit, 120 minutes, that's about what, 5 per minute? So when I found out about the double hit combos, they really help pass the time along faster, you know? If this was just any old tools, I could just say, use a hammer, use a scythe or something. Yeah, just use a hammer or a scythe and get, you know, a lot of extra attacks in. A lot of extra damage. A heck of a lot of extra damage in. Much faster. I'm glad I put in the counter. That was well worth the extra couple of minutes it took to make that. $122. Gosh, when I found out that you could force the Siren to do a water laser attack. Now, of course, none of this testing, obviously, none of this testing involved how the Siren acts when below half health. Because of course it doesn't. Of course none of it did. Of course I didn't do any testing about that. If I could convince the Siren to always... If I could, like, I don't know, can I, like, just stand right here and convince the Siren to always be down here? Another hazard of this fighting arena. Sometimes you just fill up your watering can by accident. I am going to drown up this mermaid. It sounds so bad. I am going to give it revenge. I'm going to commit revenge on it? What? I'm going to I am seeking revenge for all the people who have been pulled to their own deaths by the Siren's call. I am going to drown a Siren. And, like, you know what? Probably deserves it, honestly. Okay. I've started to get routine in for how to pretty consistently get double attacks. Yeah. Let's see if it takes another 14 minutes. Oh yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It was, you know, 120 minutes, but like that first minute was like nothing. The first spin around at the start of the battle takes an excessively long time. Okay, that was weird. I think I was way too close for it to default to water laser, and it just chose to do water laser anyway. I'm just taking that and going with it. But yeah, almost half an hour fighting it. One heal would take all of this away. Because it heals for 200. Flat. Like, this is, like, the kind of battle that I go for these stupid challenges. Death by 1,000 cuts against a boss who can heal! I just have to convince it not to heal itself. Yeah, an extra 50 in about 7 extra minutes. Maybe I should have a separate counter for the number of times my controller dies during this. What's the button again? What's the button I have been hitting over 10 dozen times by now? Over a dozen times? We're about, what, an eighth of the way they are? Right? Yeah, because 650 is half. 325 would be a quarter. So 150, 170-ish would be about an eighth. Wow, what? So 170 in half an hour. Yeah, we're still looking at like 4 hours. Something like. A little bit less than 4 hours. We're still looking at something like 4 hours. Remember, I'm not like stopping to pull up a calculator with this. This is why it pays to be able to just do math. Mental math magics. Oh, shoot. Are you really telling me I can't just have more ice creams? Wait, no. Because time is frozen inside a boss battle, you can't eat when you're already full. It's not like later games where you can just keep eating and just keep getting more benefits. Oh no. 180 attacks still. Flipping half hour in. Oh, what? I can eat now. Crisis? The crisis created and crisis averted. Here I am thinking, oh, I will have to go and stock up on a couple stacks of Invinciroids and do dupes, even though the numbers still add up because food is arbitrary. But apparently, Ice Cream Boost lasts for an excessively short period of time. Okay, so if I can do 70 in 10 minutes. Oh, no, gosh, no. So... And I just have to keep eating ice creams. Whenever my brain freeze wears away, I have to just down another thing of ice cream immediately. As soon as I finish one, as soon as I recover from the one, I go on to the next. Yeah, it's still 11:40 a.m. I like how you can, like, pull out the food, eat the food, put away the food, and then still run all the way across the arena in the time it takes the mermaid to swim a little. And honestly, if I do some speed-ups for all... Yeah, if I do a few speed-ups here and there, this will be even excessively faster. As if 4 hours for this stupid For this stupid little experiment of a thing. How soon can I run up to it? Almost just hit R twice to do the counter. Like, you have to wait for it to, like, turn. You have to wait for it to turn and then, like, stop turning. So yeah, 70, 140, 210. And the close would be 5 of it to for 350, right? Like, it's pretty obvious right there. So it'd be about 50 minutes for a quarter, so 50, hour 40, 2.5, so 3 hours, 20 minutes? So yeah, if I can keep up the rate of 70, so 7 per minute, 7 attacks per minute. No, bloody no. I have gotten a lot better at double tapping, though. I'm going to let my health burn down a little bit more first before I continue having more of the ice cream. Controller got disconnected. What is this, 3 times now? That heal would have undone what, over, I want to say over 40 minutes of work, but no, it's 14, 21. Almost half an hour's worth of work. Fine. It missed. 1 in 231. Strictly speaking, I attacked more than that many times. Is a fine amount there. Yet when I say that I haven't had enough, when I haven't had good enough games lately, this is what I'm talking about. I want this. This is game. This is the experience of game. It's how to explain it. It's the death of 1,000 cuts. If it's done properly, it's not, you know, long, drawn out, arduous. It's an extended, yeah, it's not like long, drawn out, and arduous. Like, if done right, it is an endurance test. But I don't know. I guess it's the sort of thing where, like, the answer to this boss isn't, you know, attack it 1,300 times. But because I'm doing this stupid challenge, the answer to this boss fight really is, apparently, attack it 1,300 times. And I say, okay. Fine. 1,300? Fine. I'm sure that once the boss gets into, like, the red zone or something, that the whole battle mechanics are going to be just thrown out the window and everything is going to be much different all of a sudden. And that's just the way that's going to be. Like, you know that's gotta be the case, right? Like, it gets into the red, and then it doesn't matter how far away I am from it, it's still just going to heal all the time anyway. There, 250. Only took about 42 minutes. No, you don't. Done. Too many games nowadays. And also, somewhat in the past, but more so nowadays. Way too many games just, if you follow through with, like, most of the game mechanics well enough, the game just becomes, like, super stupid easy. Like, say, Cyberpunk 2077. If you know, if you do hacking and get, you know, the good tier hacking tools and stuff, you can basically solve every single... It's like, yeah, sure, you go down in, like, one bullet. But, and that's if you're playing on, you know, the hardest difficulty. Sure, you go down in one bullet. But you also just never get seen, so you never get shot. So, dying in one bullet means nothing. You can hack everyone in a building, no matter where they are, basically. And just nobody can see you, and even if they could find you, you can just hide and keep hacking them anyway, and they can't actually hack you. You're just immune to enemy hacks. Yeah, until you face it off against one of those what, side boss characters, whatever, who are basically immune to all of your good hacks, so you just have to run in circles while avoiding getting hit by them while you do your, like, minor hacks. Yeah, gosh. Heck, the Rune Factory games. I'm sure if I wasn't doing this watering can only, and if it wasn't for this dungeon only being available in winter, I could probably rather easily beat the game within the first spring. Right? Like, quite probably. But like Rune Factory 5, very easily beat within the first spring. Like, I wasn't necessarily trying to, like, you know, beat it as fast as possible. I was just playing through the game and constantly going for more and more of it. There's like a whole, you know, 3 areas to explore and stuff. And I never found myself exploring them because I never had the incentive to explore them ever. There's always either, you know, do stuff for the next dungeon, or, hey, I already have too many things in a day to do. I don't have the free... Yeah. If there was, like, say, a 5-day window after completing one dungeon before going to the next, then in the early game, I would definitely have the extra free time needed. Or, you know, wanted. Oh my gosh, I got caught up on a ledge down there. I totally have the free time to go around and just go and explore a bit. And then of course there are those wanted monsters that I didn't even really notice until I'd be in the game and I could just go and get all of them at once. There was that meteor event, which encouraged me to explore, like if I didn't have a map for it but knew that it would land at somewhere. That encourages exploration. So there's that. And of course, most people who play games don't necessarily try to, you know, play the game to be as effective as possible. Oh, that's one stack of ice cream down. Yeah, if only I could get another, what, 58 hits in the next 12 minutes? Actually, no, that is very plausible, huh? Yeah, I could definitely see myself doing this in under 4 hours. Honestly, I had really considered just streaming this whole thing, just to see if anyone would be up at this time. I mean, whatever, worldwide, right? Whatever. A lot of people surely are. But just to see if anyone would be interested in joining in for the stupidest challenge. And of course, there's no way that I'd do this just for myself. It's like, no, I'm recording this. I'm going to have proof that I'm doing this stupid challenge. Controller died yet again. Yeah, I do believe. Nom nom nomming. Yeah. If by the 1 hour mark I have 350. 350 in an hour. Am I listening to what I'm saying? No, I'm not. Is it interesting? Gosh, I hope so. I know a lot of the times for my videos it feels like I'm just phoning it in. And I mean, a lot of the times I am. Have you seen the Hyrule Warriors Legacy? No, not Legacy. No, you flippin' don't get a chance to heal yourself. What do you think you are? A challenge? Alright, 9.5 minutes to do 43 hits. Easy. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, I make fun of... Oh god. I play games that don't have a plot, and try to, like, almost make up a plot sometimes. Whatever. But whenever I do play a game that actually has a specific plot, I don't care for the plot. Not all the time, but pretty much all the time. I don't care about actual plot in games. Which is weird, because, like, I think it's actually because I can make my own plot for things very well. I'm very much adept at being able to just create a storyline for stuff. I don't need a game to try to give me its storyline. I can make one that I feel is better. Like, there's that one anime type game that I was playing a little while back, and that game was fine. But I stopped playing it primarily because I found the plot to be really stupid. No, not Danganronpa. Danganronpa I stopped playing because I finished it. Quote unquote. Last episodes of it aren't out yet and won't be out for a little bit. Last episodes of it won't be out for a few weeks. The most annoying thing, however, is that was it? Yeah. The Alwa games, like, Alwa's Legacy is actually, like, a direct sequel. Danganronpa 2 is not actually so much a direct sequel to Danganronpa, now that I think about it. But both games have their last episode on the flippin' same day. Sorry, on the same day, no. On the same week. And because of how I have the schedule, that's pretty bad. It can be made up for with a little bit of trickery. Either completely screwing over the schedule by not having a new episode on the Saturday, or by tricking the schedule a little bit by having the first episode of the new series premiere on the Saturday before the last episode of the previous series. Don't you dare. Uh, well, so since Danganronpa 2 doesn't I mean, yeah. Since Danganronpa 2 doesn't necessarily rely on knowing the exact end of the first game, I think I'm going to have Danganronpa 2 happen. The first episode of Danganronpa 2 go up before the last episode of Danganronpa. So if anyone wanted to watch some Danganronpa 2 before seeing the end of Danganronpa, that's up to them. Whatever. Sometimes I think, oh gosh, 4 minutes to go and I need like one attack. So yeah, anything beyond that one attack. So basically the next 3.5+ minutes are essentially just free. Any extra damage I can deal is just time off of the clock. So what, 14 minutes? Yeah, it's definitely looking like it'll take less than 4 hours to do this. That's cool. We're almost an hour in. Gosh. Yeah, sometimes I think it'd be cool to be a big name YouTuber. To have like a lot of people around. Yeah, have like an editor so I can give them like this 4-hour file of drudgery and have them just pick out whatever moments might be best out of it. Or, you know, just upload the whole 4-hour thing and have people just try to watch it. Just let people try to watch it. Whatevs. No big deal. Like, who's on? Yeah, I really like games where you get to be creative in different ways. Yeah, where you can be creative, but in a creative way. I think that actually expresses it very well. Because sure, there are games that's just like, hey, paint, whatever. And it's like, yeah, sure, you can technically be creative there, but that's not a creative method. Controller died. That's not a creative method of being creative, you know? It's just, man. So say, your quest 2. You get to, you know, design the topography of the area. You get to assign stats and then reassign them, I want to say at random, but no. Reassign them however you wish, like... So yeah, the beginning is kind of samey, but it's like just different enough that it's like not dull? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say it. But we're at the hour mark with 375 hits. At this rate, Remember when I was thinking that I was going to take, like, flippin' 11 flippin' hours to do this? And so, like, okay, what's my save state key? Because I'm gonna need it. It's like, no, I don't need that. But yeah, Dark Cloud 2, those give an interesting amount of creativity. God, honestly, Dark Cloud minimum dungeon entry was just about Dark Cloud Zao only. Yeah, Dark Cloud Catgirl only. In a game where the Catgirl is considered to be the worst character, I still easily play through the game with practically just that character. I will admit, I did have a few grinding spots, but I think I could have still been in the game without specifically going to grinding spots for the purposes of grinding. The trick is to just defeat all the monsters on each floor, and that right there gives you tons of experience. Well, no, yeah, 375 is just a quarter, not 350, so... We did make it to exactly a quarter at the 1 hour mark. Right. It wasn't 4 minutes of extra, it was 4 minutes to get the extra 25. I wonder if the boss wants to, like, try healing itself or try making it summon or something, but it can't because it's, like, just... It has to just keep attacking like this. It's like, nope, they're still far enough away. I have to hit them with my laser. I can't just heal while they're far away. That would be rude. Honestly, the first... What it seems like is that the Siren decides what attack, or, you know, what utility, what option it's going to choose next when it dives into the water. But it chooses the location it goes to next, apparently before it dives into the water. It's not always the exact same configuration, and I don't know if player's position has a role to play in determining where the Siren swims to next. But it does seem to be... Whatever. So if you rewind the game to before the Siren dives into the water, the next time it comes up, it'll do a different move. And I thought that I was going to have to do that, but, like, constantly? Just to make sure that it would never heal, and preferably never make it summon. There's just something kind of awesome about playing some old game and finding out information about it that nobody was able to apparently find and post online in its entire history. Like, I think if you search up, like, it's like Dark Cloud Challenge Run or something, or Dark Cloud Dungeon on, like, Google video search, like, yeah, I know if you search up Dark Cloud minimum dungeon entry on Google search, my videos are like the first to come up. Like 7 of the top 10 are my videos on it. Which is a rather fitting number, I would say. Imagine I do all this, but somehow I'm muted. You just can't possibly hear me over all this awesome music. Whee! We're over an hour in. I'm starting to zone out. It's almost 4 a.m. I'm starting to zone here. I still have another, like, 3 hours of this. I have a bad feeling that, like, 5 years from now, someone's going to play, like, this music, and I'm just going to, like, fall asleep. Anyway, as I've mentioned, I've done literally no testing on this boss when it's in red form. So hopefully everything goes fine, because if not, I am dead beyond dead. For what I hear, it just goes faster. And the minion it summons is more powerful. But if the mechanics of the boss stay the same, if I can convince it to only use water jet attack. Oh, also the water jet changes from 2 beams to 4. So I'm gonna have to be extra careful about getting around it. That's right, that was the thing I'd read about. The water jet size increase. Yeah, this is like the epitome of, if it bleeds, we can kill it. I can deal a damage to it. That's all I need. I should have gotten some, like, water before doing this. Oh no, my controller died as the sign was coming up to sit right next to me. Okay. Here's a cool idea for a game. Harvest Moon, like... Here's the question, do I really even like the farming simulator? I think I do. However, Rune Factory-esque game, you know, complete with, like, the farming simulator, but you go into dungeons. Okay, I don't know if I want either you go into the dungeons and they're... it's like a roguelike with randomized dungeons and such. Or have it be like a Metroidvania. But yeah, Harvest Moon meets Metroidvania game. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Unless I'm already standing there by the time she comes up, I don't think I can do the triple. Imagine alternate version, the glass cannon version of this, where you just change her moves to only ever being healing. It's just you do definitively more than 200 damage each time she comes up. Because the water jet is just way too much to handle. First I was trying to run the numbers to do the math, so I can just be more assured of myself that, yeah, this will take just 4 hours. I mean, in all fairness, I was ready to try this when I thought that this would take something like 11 hours. Just go and do this for like maybe 4 hours. And then tomorrow after doing my, and then, you know, sleep, go and do it, and then play for another 4 hours. And then, like, the day after, another 4 hours. But yeah, just do this for, like, a lot. I wonder if I could, because my stepbrother, one of my stepbrothers is a musician. I wonder if I could get his permission to use some of his music in my videos. Just, like, for something like this, just have, like, a whole album playing or something. Just something better than the game music, like, for goodness sake. Yeah, trying to do this without the rewinds would definitely be a royal struggle. I'm just imagining it's like, there's no way to really, like, prove, except for, like, through video footage, that you only ever used a watering can. And it's like, well, what if we approve? Because, like, I can prove in this game file that I've never used a sword, because I have literally 0 sword XP. It's like, what if you just go like that? But then it's like, well, then you'd have to also never use the axe or the hammer for their intended purposes, otherwise someone could just say, well, you used one of them. Because, yeah, just using, like, the hammer for this would be a heckin' lot easier. I remember in Rune Factory 4 when you could, like, equip townsfolk and stuff. You know what this is making me want to do? Rune Factory 5 true friend. Or, you know, Rune Factory 5, Power of the People, or, you know, Rune Factory 5, Pacifist Run. I don't hurt any of the monsters. I just have... Don't you blink and dare do that. I'm sorry, is there like actually a pattern to this? Because I notice every once in a while it decides to like sit on the bottom twice. No, I should check to make sure that this... No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Bottom, bottom, top, left. There has to be some sort of a pattern to how it decides where to go. Bottom, bottom, top, left, bottom, right. I don't know. Woohoo, past 500. Even without level 100 seeds, heck, even without level 10s, I still had plenty enough money to just buy an arbitrary amount of ice cream. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, by the time this is finished, it will be like 7 a.m. What if I actually just get myself some ice cream as a treat? No, I shouldn't. Frozen yogurt though. Tempting. Yay, controller. How about I get myself a new controller as a treat? More of a personal issue, but who's watching, you know, an hour and 19 minutes into this 4-hour beat the boss run, huh? I've been trying to lose weight. And when I say trying, I mean passively trying. Because, like, I had to lose weight for my surgery. And I picked up on some stuff that's supposed to work for how to lose weight. You know, find out how many calories you need to eat per day to maintain your current weight, and eat less than that. And between the number of calories you eat and the number of calories you burn, have the total be less than that. And that should be, you know, the amount that you lose per day. 3,500 calories is supposed to be a pound. Supposed to be. I eat an extra 500 calories in a day, and all of a sudden I've gained like 7 or 8 pounds. Whereas I have, like, yeah, 1,000 less calories in a day, and I've still gained extra weight sometimes. It was a royal struggle to try to lose the weight that I did. And I had the surgery, and even though I kept trying to eat, like, a healthy amount of not going over my daily calories, I still gained back pretty much all of the weight that took me, like, 2 years to lose. Gained it back within, like, a month. And it's like, oh, well then. Because some bodies are just made for losing weight, and some bodies are really made for packing it on. It's like, yeah, I'd like to be thin, or at least not, you know, morbidly obese. I don't see myself as being obese, because it's a whole perspective thing. I don't have to look at myself all the time. And whenever possible, I don't look at myself. But then, you know, things happen and it just comes obvious. Yeah, I had to get a new gaming chair because my previous one totally broke and I didn't want to use, you know, old and beaten down, like, dining room chair for it. For my computer gaming chair. And all of the gaming chairs in all the places in town, the maximum weight limit was, like, a lot less than my weight. Yeah, I'm, like, over 300 pounds. I'm not like, you know, the 500 or 600 pound people you see on TV. Haven't gone to that part. But I am still, you know, big, bulky, beefy, whatever. I know. I'm not trying to, like, deny that. But, yeah. I've thought about things that I can do to try to lose weight, like getting an exercise bike or a treadmill, whatever. I don't want a treadmill. I did set up a standing desk specifically for whenever I play Webcam Commander. Yeah, it's at a standing desk. So if I were to, say, spend an entire day just playing Webcam Commander, I am doing something. I am standing. The lightest form of exercise, no, I think the second lightest form of exercise. The lightest form of exercise is shaking your legs while you are sitting. That's supposed to be exercise. It's supposed to be. No. No. It's supposed to help you lose weight. I doubt it. Considering I am notorious for constantly, always, violently shaking my legs at all times while I'm sitting. And it's like, if that has been helping me lose weight this whole time, then, like, gosh, maybe I could have been on one of those My 500 Pound Life shows for that. Like, yeah. It's like, I can go and gain like 10 pounds in a day. It's like, okay, what did I eat? I ate some chicken. So, okay, about 800 grams of boneless, skinless chicken. So, about 800 calories. I had some pasta. Now, pasta is, I will admit, insanely high in calories. But Okay, wait, no, that isn't what I ate today. That was what I ate a few days ago. Today, it was just pasta. Surely I did not have 2,000 flippin' calories worth of pasta today. I should get back in the habit of, like, measuring my food and knowing how much I eat and all that. What I really should get in the habit of is taking those frozen veggies I have and actually frying them up to eat. Maybe that'll be my reward when I'm done here. I'll get to have some nice, yummy frozen veggies. What is 375? Wait. No. Wait, hold on. No. Quarter wasn't 375. Because half is 650. A quarter would be 325. I wasn't just at the mark. I was flipping 50 above. Yeah. When I started watching my calories and, I got a little kitchen scale to keep track of so I could measure my food and stuff. Really checking, like, the calories of the foods that I eat so I could keep track of it. Bloody. Some foods are so excessively high in calories. Like, bloody pork. Pork has a 2-to-1 calorie ratio. Yeah, 2 calories per gram of pork. Skinless chicken is 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is... yeah. 1-to-1 or less is ideal. One calorie per gram. Yeah. Like 600 grams of boneless, skinless chicken, like that's a good meal. Like it used to be the case where I just like, because what I used to do years ago by this point, whenever I did my monthly grocery shopping on the Cheap Tuesday, I grabbed just a whole like hunk of pork, like an amount of pork that, like, the size of my arm. Like, a lot of pork. Yeah. Bleh. So whatever. Take the giant length of pork, chop it all up, and interesting. Yeah, take the giant length of pork, chop it up, freeze some of it, refrigerate some of it. If I get hungry, just if I'm hungry, just, like, take a batch, cook it up in the air fryer. You used to have, like, a big plate's worth of just fried up pork, and that'd just be, like, pretty much just a snack. And that right there would be, like, a day's worth of calories. Just a... And it's like, yeah, I gotta not do that, like, ever. Pork is a very fatty food that's not filling. Now, fish, on the other hand, one fish is like a day's worth of calories. Like, you know, decent sized fish. Day's worth of calories, but also, I don't feel the need to actually eat anything else. Like, I never really understood the whole thing of, hey, these people on the run, they managed to catch one fish for each of them. And that's it for food for the day. Like, that always seemed like, yes, they are in desperation, and that's all the food they can get, so they're going to do what they can to appreciate it, and then... It's like, no, a whole fish like that? Like, yeah, that is actually a lot of food. That is actually a day's worth of food. It's been a while since just, like, whole fish was on sale, but I got a big old frozen fish one month, and it's like, yeah, I didn't cook it all up at once. I cooked it up in, like, segments. I'm like, okay, I'll have, like, half of it now, and I'll eat light for the rest of the day. And then it's like, should I eat it? And it's like, oh yeah, that's good. And then, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours later, I'm like, you know what? I could use more food. I still have half a fish, don't I? So really what I'm trying to say is, I'm just trying to do a little bit of fishing to feed my family of me. Yeah, imagine fighting with a fish for this long. I'm almost half flippin' way. I am almost sorely tempted. I'm very almost tempted to make all of this, not combining it down just to like one video, but to make this like 3 or 4 just 3 or 4 separate videos. You can see that I didn't, but I'm tempted about that. Yeah. Whenever people hear that I'm trying to lose weight, they're all like, oh, you should exercise, exercise. It's like, there's a lot of exercise stuff that I can't exactly do given my current living situation. Like, a treadmill or an exercise bike, those cause a lot of noise to the floor below, and hey, I live in an apartment building. That would cause a lot of noise to my downstairs neighbor. I don't want to be that kind of neighbor that makes a lot of noise to the downstairs neighbor. If I could find like a treadmill or exercise bike, especially an exercise bike, that doesn't give off a ton of noise to the floor below it, heck yes. I've tried. Have not found anything. I mean, just the act of like jogging, really, makes a lot of noise. And it's just like, well, yeah, so can't really use either of those because I'm not on the bottom floor. It's like, okay, well, just go outside and go for, like, long walks. And it's like, I don't want to be, like, the kind of person who, like, takes every single idea offered to her and it's just like, no, that's bad because I don't want to do it. But it's like, oh, just go on, like, you know, an hour or two long walk every day. It's like, do you know how little energy I have for anything on any given day? Like, yeah, sure, I have the time. But it's like, okay, so imagine I force myself to go out on, like, an hour-long walk every day. So, okay, where do I go? What do I do? Like, oh, just walk. Just find a path that's, like, you know, 2 miles. Because I could walk 2 miles in an hour. Yeah, I walk slow. Of course, I'm measuring that speed specifically from going to a specific point A to point B that was about a mile as the crow flies. It was about a mile as the crow flies, but I couldn't go in a straight line, and there was also traffic to deal with. But still, whatever. I don't want to have to go fast. If I try to go too fast, my my gallstone acts up and it hurts. And again, that's another one of those things of I don't want to do what you say because I don't want to. It's like, no, basically my entire life, not my entire life. Ever since I was like 8 or 9 or so, if I ever tried to run, I just got like a big pain in my side. And everyone is saying, oh no, that's normal, you're supposed to feel pain. You're just supposed to keep running despite the pain. Or, you're supposed to just grow to like the pain. And it's like, I don't want to do that. It's like, well, you have to. That's what exercise is. Doing stuff because you want that pain feeling in you. It's like, well, I don't want the pain feeling. Well, too bad, do it anyway. But yeah, it turns out it was a gallstone. I still remember being in that Bridging the Gap program. And, like, we were at the gym, and I, for some reason, decided to try the track, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna flat out run. I'm going to do an entire lap, and I'm just gonna flip and run. Just as fast as I can, whatever. Lots of people around. They're going to see how terrible I am at running. I don't care. I'm gonna just run one lap. I think I, strictly speaking, made it that one lap. Barely. It got to the point where, like, I knew I was going to fall down. Like, I couldn't just stop. So I made myself fall down in a, like, nice, safe, comfortable way. Picked myself up, walked over to the corner to have my water and catch my breath, and it hurt to breathe for 3 days. It got better as the days went on, obviously, but even, like, yeah, that day, the next day, and the day after, 3 days. But even on, like, the 3rd day, like, every breath is like, It's like, I'm not gonna just stop breathing, despite what my parents used to say to me when I was little. I'm not gonna just stop breathing. But, God, yeah. And I think that was the most recent time when I did my most recent time running. It didn't exactly go particularly well. That was before I moved into this apartment, so 5 or 6 years ago at this point. Oh my gosh, one away from halfway. Now, like, I'm reasonably certain that I'm not going to do this in 3 hours. Or like 3 hours and like 20 minutes or something. Even faster if I try to incorporate speed ups into this. Look at how fast I can do it now. Whatever. So, it's like, if I were to go for a nice 1 hour, like 2-mile walk every day, that isn't actually a lot of calories. I don't remember the specifics of how many calories it is, and I'm not about to look it up because I would have to stop doing what I'm doing here, you know, stop playing video games. Like, the amount of calories that I burn from 2 miles of walking, I'd burn from just like 3 or 4 hours of standing. So alternative would be, you know, play 2 Commander games a day. At least then, I'm like, you know, doing something. I get bored super easily. I need to be doing something. It's like, oh, just walk. Be alone with your thoughts. I'm alone with my thoughts all the time. I need some time away from my thoughts. It's like, oh, just get out into the nature. It's like, the nature around here isn't that good. I've seen the nature around here. It's meh. Like, nature around here is mid-tier at best. I did have one idea recently that I was tempted to go with. Get myself a nice little, like, necklace instrument. Like a little, like one of those little necklace ocarinas that I've seen once. Okay, get myself one of those and just make that as a thing that I just wear on a regular basis. And sure, maybe every day, maybe every few days, whatever. Especially, namely, while the weather is nice. Go for a walk out into the woods, far enough where I won't be bothering anyone, and just play. And it's like, how do I say this in the most obvious way? I'm a human. I have interests in lots of things. I like music. I don't love music. I like music. But I haven't really been able to play music in a while, because, you know, apartment. But to be able to just, like, go out in the woods. Maybe find, like, a little tree to lean up against or something. Little tree, big tree, whatevs. Just a tree. Just find a nice tree to whatever. And then just, you know, bring out some sheet music and just play some ocarina for a bit until I get bored. And then just walk back. I get to, you know, learn how to play an instrument a little bit better, or learn how to play more songs on an instrument. I think it'd be nice to just like be able to be with like around a group of people and just it's like oh, you want like so and so song, huh? Well, I can perform that right now because I'm wearing an instrument. I guess that's a good enough transition to another potential conversation. Wearable utility. Stuff you wear that has a utility besides either covering your body or it looking good. Like, you know, a necklace ocarina. It's a wearable instrument. I've heard some sci-fi sounding stuff. What? No. I've, you know, seen people with like Apple watches and stuff, or it's like, you know, smart watches, like a watch connected to their phone and whatever. It's like, yeah, that stuff is neat. Why stop at just watches though? Just all sorts of stuff. I've once heard about a technology that could be like threaded into a shirt wherein what are the specifics again? It was something to the tune of like sweat makes the shirt clean or something, so it never actually has to be washed. You could literally just wear the same shirt every day and there wouldn't be a hygiene issue about it. It's like, okay, yeah, that would be really useful. And of course, people's first thoughts go immediately to, it's like, oh yeah, if you're some sort of lazy loser who doesn't shower, blah, it's like, I mean, it doesn't say the shirt will clean you, it just says that the shirt itself doesn't need to be cleaned. Like, depending on the price of, you know, clothing in general with that technology, like, I'm thinking some sort of, like, super heavy, like, super invested person. Invest in work, invest in, or whatever. Who doesn't have time to go to a laundromat. I don't know, someone, maybe, like, someone who lives out in the woods. Like, washing clothes. Just being able to just take washing clothes out of the equation of everything else. Just have, you know, one less job for humans to do. Because I'm sure that there's someone who exists out there who just loves to wash clothes. I wouldn't understand why someone would love washing clothes, but I'm not going to. But, like, I'm sure there's someone out there who does. Reason why I started saying that, it's the whole computers are taking over all of the jobs. Where it's like, okay, yeah, use computers to automate tasks. That's supposed to be good for humanity, but because of greedy business owners, it's not, because they are just pocketing all the money and the wealth is going straight to them instead of going to, like, you know, all the people. And stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, well, AI can do stuff. Well, now AI can, like, make art. Asterisk is not actually art, due to a bunch of reasons that people have been posting around about why AI art is not art. I'm not an artist, and I'm not someone who's very intelligent in the ways of AI. So all I know is the stuff that I've been told about it. But yeah, you can... I played around with AI art. Like, I'll say that. Played around with it to see what it is. I think it's a very useful tool for approximating something that you are thinking about. But like, some people are saying it's like, oh, well, it makes doing art too easy if anyone can just, you know, think of what they want, write it down. Why do I get... bloody? That was a lot. But yeah, like, if anyone could just, like, go and write in what they want and have the computer make it, then art has no feeling or soul anymore, blah, blah, and all that stuff. And it's like, if some sort of machine was invented to be able to literally take people's dreams and just make a movie out of that, or I say, even better, take a person's thoughts themselves and make, you know, pictures or movies based off of specifically what a person is thinking. It's like, from their brain projected onto a screen. Like, it is a person's own ideas and stuff brought in, but literally zero effort. You have to just think of thing and boom. Would that be art? Would that be morally correct? Would that be an okay thing to utilize? I don't know. I know I would. It definitely make my series a lot better. Yeah. Anyone can write a book, but it takes at least some sort of dedication to make a movie, and a lot of dedication to make a good one. God. I really should just write more. That whole Vanillion series. I could talk about it for days. And what I should do, and what I should have been doing all this past over a decade now, write out the series, somehow make it popular, you know, write out the series, get it published, somehow get it popular, find people who are interested in it, so I can just gush about it with them. And it feels weird, because, like, I know that I can... Okay, how do I explain this? I know I could just make up a stupid little story and have it mean nothing, and none of the details are really worth thinking about or remembering or anything. But the Vanillion series, like, it feels real to me. It's like, it doesn't feel like, oh, this is a little thing that I made up. It's the things like, hey, these are people, like, they have feelings, they, like, exist in some way, like, but, you know, it's fiction, but it doesn't feel like it's something that I made up. It feels like something that was, like, you know, like, say, Avatar, like the TV show. That's fiction. But if you talk about, it's like, oh, and then, like, Aang ate a hamburger, and then people could be like, that's not a thing that happens. Aang wouldn't eat hamburgers. Like, he's fictional. He could eat whatever I want him to eat, because he's made up. It's like, that's not how it goes. It's like, sure, it was originally made up, but it's, what, established? It has established lore and canon? Same with, like, Vanille. Whee. Although, names of characters, like, most of the character names, like, most of the characters, I've been using their names for so long that they fit the names. Lee, Marissa, just name a few. Scarlet. Scarlet the Vampire, yeah, very easy name. Lee Lin. It's a name that I made up as a joke, and it just kind of... I was just kind of like, yeah, no, I like that name. Yeah, there's Lily Lin and her twin, Little Lee Lin, named for their father. Will Lee. It's a stupid little joke, and it still makes me, like, smile about it. Yeah. Still brings joy, so I just looked at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost at 2 hours. I should end this episode already. Gosh, no, I'm not. I should hurry up and kill this boss already. Okay, wait. 350, right? So that'd be 175. Yeah, right? 350 is a quarter. No. 325 is a quarter. Don't you dare. Alright, 650 is half, 325, so it'd be 150. So 925 will be the 3/4 mark. Okay, wait. 325. 150 plus 12. 167? I will admit, for a while there, I forgot that I was playing a game. I got too invested in Vanille there for a bit. But I have storylines planned out for the characters. I could just... I think what I really need is to find someone who loves the story as much as I do. Someone who wants to know more about what happens. So, to encourage me to actually write more about it, to show them what happens next. Yeah, I guess if it weren't for the gaming thing, another thing I could do for the time, and heck, I could do it concurrently alongside the gaming, really. Gaming just take too much. It's just write a chapter a day. A chapter is not that much work. It's just getting started is annoying. Just, hey, 800, nice. Just write a chapter a day. And I think it was like, after like 6 years I'll be done. Because it's 12 characters, so 12 stories. With 61 chapters each. So that'll be 610 plus 122. So 732 days. That's just like 2 years. I mean, that makes sense considering each one of the 12 characters, that's a 2-month period, 61 days. So it really should be about 2 years worth. Yeah. Already have some nice major plot twists all planned out and stuff. The endings. Yeah. Beginnings, endings, some of the middle stuff. But to everyone else, it's just make-believe. To me, it's just... yeah. Like, it's not going to be the next Lord of the Rings. Heck, no matter how well I write it, it's not going to be the next Lord of the Rings. But it doesn't have to be. And every once in a while, every few years, or sometimes more than just a few years, I find it a new character to add to the group, and yeah, it's already at the part where there's like the main grouping of people, secondary characters, and like tertiary characters. Like Claire, hi, Marissa, Lee, Sarah, like, you know, so the main characters. Secondary characters, Lily, Ember, Morgan, Kimiko. Not, you know, the main front of the line, but still important. Not the characters that I use most often, but still important. I think Rey is definitely moving her way into being a primary character. I have been using her and wanting to use her a lot. Two hours in, over 800 done. Yeah, what is the 3/4 mark? 975, right? 650 plus 325, so... 150 away. What's that, about 30 minutes? Yeah, tertiary characters like Kima and Maya. I don't almost ever use them ever, but they're still around. Yeah, Morgan. You know, big sister of Sakamoto Kumiko. I mean, it is canon that Kimiko did choose her name. Not because she's trans. She just wanted to give herself a name. And nobody wanted to point out that names aren't really supposed to work that way in Vanille, but you know what? If that's you, then that's you, and that's fine with us. Yeah. Names in Vanilla. Some of my characters just have single names, and some characters have 2 names. A few have 3 names. everyone is given, you know, their personal name. Names are important after all. However, only after... It's only after something has been done of great importance by a person do they earn a second name, which is more of a title. This title can be passed down through future generations. So most of the people in Vanilla who do have a second name only manage to inherit the name. And of course there's the whole thing of if they don't uphold the values resonated by that name, they could stand to lose it. But a lot of time it's just handed down through the family. Like, yeah, someone in our family was able to do something very great at some point in the past, and we still honor and respect them for doing so by carrying the name that was awarded to them for doing as such. Yeah, like the Lin family name. Sarah Lin, Lee Lin, Lily Lin. It was Sarah's name originally, and it got passed down to the family. One interesting thing, you don't really see it in fantasy fiction, but you do see it in more realistic fiction when it comes up, is if a family were to have like just an age, you know, like an immortal family member, that could be, you know, great grandma or something, but she's, you know, as old as her, you know, great grandchildren. Because, hey, agelessness and stuff. Oh gosh. The Academy and Taylor. Oh gosh, Taylor. She's been forced to live her entire life in captivity. She finally breaks free, giving up parts of herself for this freedom to make it to the Academy, only to be turned away at the door. Spoilers, but yeah, she works. The first few chapters are in essentially hell. Fire, maybe some lava, demons abound aplenty, lots of sin, trapped underground. She finally manages to escape, and then she makes it like across the world, just her and her seeing eye cat girl. Yeah, Emily wasn't necessarily supposed to be a cat girl originally, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. I wound up using art, or finding art for her that seemed perfect for her, except the character in the art is a cat girl. Basically just human, but with like cat ears. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense for Emily to be, you know, nice, cute little feline. So I figured, sure, that's reasonable. It's fantasy. Cat girls can exist. Oh gosh, I'm just imagining there would be a really out there and ending for a story. Maybe not necessarily ending, but resolution, but also be called the most horrible resolution of all time. Writing the characters in what seem to be very realistic, very likely scenarios for these characters as they've been established to find themselves in. And eventually they're eventually they find themselves on the verge of death, and there's nothing that they can do at this point that could save them. Like, there's no plea deal that could be made. The villains have already been established enough that they wouldn't listen to any plea deal that the main characters would make. There's no skills that they can draw out. Like, at this point, well, any possible way for the heroes to not die would have to be a Deus Ex Machina of some kind. And the writer's just like and the wall closed, over the heroes, trapping them in darkness as the scritching sounds of the scarabs scattered across the room. But I wasn't having any of that. And then the author just writes themselves as the flippin' Deus Ex Machina to save their characters. Like, from what I've seen of reviews for stories, everybody would hate that if it happened. So now I feel like I have to write that as a thing. It's like, but I'm not about to let that happen. No, wait, hold on. These are my characters. I don't want them to just die. It's like, what? It's like, oh, what? Am I going to backtrack in the story and have them make a friend, like 6 chapters ago, who's going to suddenly come in to save the day here? 6 chapters ago, they were outlaws in the desert. No one around there were bound to be their friends, at least nobody that they left alive. Oh, what? Maybe one of the dead bodies of someone they had fought against or failed to save is going to come and save them. Unfortunately, unfortunately for any such zombie hero wannabe, the heroes of this story are protected against necromancy. No zombie can get within 100 feet of them, remember? And of course I can't just have that not be a thing. They needed that in order to get through the haunted graveyard. The spell has to last a while. That's why it was so expensive, is because it lasts them a year and a day. So, and then just like plot through like all of the ways that you screwed yourself out of saving the heroes at this moment. It's like, so of course, something's gotta be the Deus Ex Machina. And what bigger god is there than I? And what bigger god is there than I? I decide what happens. This is just me playing make-believe with all of you coming along for the story. So thank you all for playing pretend with me. But our fun is not over yet. And it's like, yeah, sure, of course. Trapped in room, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, actually, there's an escape hatch that somehow opens up. Like, you can write a way out of, like, anything. if you are, you know, determined enough to. But just an author having just the solid nerve to come out and be all like, yeah, I'm gonna change this story. Pardon me. I'm gonna change this story. Screw you. And then, of course, authors who might do something like that then establish that the author themselves is actually a character in the story. Okay, wait. Idea for a story. Written in first-person perspective from two different people. I mean, the idea that comes to mind is person with split personality to keep writing from, like, one perspective versus the other. Gosh, I tried to write a story once that was, like, recent third-person perspective. So, like, as if recent past third-person perspective style. That was royally annoying to write. Like, written as if it happened. Like, written as if it was written, like, hours after it had happened. Before, like, the rest of the story, like, as if the person is writing it during the story, so that you don't know what's going to happen next, but they know what had happened. But as if they are actually literally writing it down, versus the first person that's just, this is how I'm thinking it. Although for the Vanilla series, I do love the idea of each individual story being written in a slightly different manner based on the character, based off of the main character. Like, Kumiko's story has, like, no dialogue because, like, she has autism. It's all about how she, how her brain filters and interacts with the world around her. And it's like, and I don't know if you've ever seen those things as, like, you know, autistic train of thought or ADHD train of thought. It's like, but, like, actually being able to follow one along, like, smoothly, but that still jumps all over the place, is really an interesting experience. Just, it's like, oh, someone's walking along and they're in a cloak. I mean, it's a bright and sunny day outside. The only sorts, I mean, it's like the only sorts of people it would really make sense to wear such a cloak in this kind of weather would be vampires. There has been a vampire issue going on in the town to the south lately, but they're not supposed to be coming up this far, at least not without their proper paperwork. Of course, this person could be a vampire and have all the proper paperwork. I wouldn't know. It's not like vampires have to wear a badge or anything. Trying to make people wear a badge to proclaim their identity out to the public is a registered hate crime, after all. After what had happened some 150 years ago, with trying to separate all people into, like... I scared myself there. The music changed to something new, and I was not ready for that. The rules. Just... 945. Yeah. But also, uh, having a character go through with the, you know, uh, speedy train of thought process like that is it also does world building in a way that isn't so absolutely blatant. As opposed to just like, oh, well, as you know, the so-and-so of 1612 means that no elves can cross on their own through dwarven lands, or else it's like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, as you know, sister, our father died 5 years ago today. And stuff, because, like, that kind of world building, it's like, yeah, especially in short stories, you kind of need stuff like that just so everyone can, you know what's going on immediately. And I've read very, very few stories that have had all of these, like, things to keep in mind while reading this story. Boom. Like, just right at the beginning, it's like, things to keep in mind. The incident, like, yeah, this is what it was. Like, the characters aren't going to spell it out for you. Because why would they? But, like, this is what it is. But, like, it would totally make sense for someone with autism to think about. It's like, oh yeah, the incident that happened last summer. Someone, like, brought a thing of Kool-Aid, but they mixed it wrong, and it turned into, like, an explosive, and it painted, like, half the school orange. I don't think anyone was, like, seriously harmed in that. Nobody died, at least, but as far as I know. That's also a thing. Extremely risky to do, but if it pays off, it can work very well. Lie to your readers. It's really risky to do, because if someone's reading a book and a character says a thing, they will believe that thing, period, because why would they not? Even if the character is supposed to be a known liar, it's like, well, they lied to the other people, but they wouldn't lie to me, the reader. It's like, and just, you know, making a habit of just lying to your readers and then just retconning the stuff later, or correcting it, quote unquote, is bad. But if you can get a lie, if you can get the readers to just assume something without actually telling them, and then later on it's like, no, someone actually did die in that explosion. And it's like, so I didn't say that nobody died. I said I thought nobody died. Turns out someone died. You know, what? Someone else comes on, it's like, yeah, it turns out someone actually did die. Speaking of incidents in school, and speaking of runaway trains, I remember. Oh, 975 3/4. Oh no. Oh no, she's faster now. I still got it, though. Wow, no. No you didn't. No you didn't. So she wants to heal right here. Okay, that's just not happening, I guess. Oh my gosh, it's so much harder to get a hit in. Okay, okay. It looks like we can now get it from like one side, but not the other. So I have to see where she's landing. Also, I've been fighting this boss so long, I unlocked the shiny of it. Only, what, 319 to go. I have no idea what I was talking about before this started happening. $317 to go. And each one of these remaining ones is I'm gonna have to fight for, huh? No, I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it. I'd say that the damage was more than one. Yeah, one in a loop, if I'm fortunate enough to get it. Yeah, unique problem with the watering can. It wants to be filled up. I don't know why that's so much of an issue now, all of a sudden. Just like all of a sudden, it's the biggest problem in the world. Oh, come on. Fine. Almost at 1,000. Over 2.5 hours in. Almost at 1,000. Whew. I feel like we're in like the last stretch here. I mean, still probably solid hour and a half more left to go. Really should just be an hour, but with the boss's final quarter being this difficult, it's bound to be. Gee willikers, I wish I could just attack it. Okay, don't feel like you have to keep getting so close to it. Yeah. I think that's the issue. I keep trying to get, like, super right up next to it to attack it, but it's like, get too close to it, you're just right up at the water and trying to refill from water that's definitively far below you. Alright, there's enough. Woo! 1,000! How many am I getting per minute now? Two in a minute? What's that? 4 in a minute so far. I can still keep going with like 5 per minute. Really, it's like 6 per minute if I don't screw up, but... So for 300 divided by 5, that'd be 60. So yeah, still like an hour to go. 20, 40, 60. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 300 is 300s. Doy. No, you flippin' don't. So 320s is 60. Oh, bloody. There we go. So it'll probably just be something around 3.5 hours. Yeah, if only it was just death by 1,000 spritzes, it would be gone by now. Oof. I can feel the fatigue is like definitely catching up with me here. Because it's like... Yay. Yep. But instead of actually like creating something that people might enjoy, I just make these videos, and including playing through games that I've already played before. I don't know, I've just been doing Rune Factory games for a long time now. Rune Factory is like kind of my thing, which is weird because I wouldn't have necessarily called Rune Factory my thing, but I guess I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Harvest Moon type games, and Rune Factory is a Harvest Moon type game. Although I never did really get into Stardew Valley. I tried. I did. I didn't get into it. I did try. Like, I guess maybe if I had a group to do something with, but I've seen enough of the play of it to know that it is more or less rather simplistic. Okay, how many skills are there in Stardew Valley? Like 6? Stardew Valley, but each character can only raise one of the stats. So yeah, so there's like one person, like, you know, one person chopping logs, one person doing like mining stuff. Although to be fair, Stardew Valley like co-op is heckin' lot easier than Stardew Valley not co-op. Especially with, like, the mines, because, like, one of the big disappointments of doing mines in early game, so you don't have enough, like, inventory to hold everything, and don't have enough stamina to keep going down. But in co-op, you have, you know, double the inventory space. Asterisk. Oh, wrong button. Double the staminas. Okay, I've already gone through... Wait. 975... Yeah. Power that. There we go. Gosh. 265 left to go. Yeah, this controller really doesn't like these extended gaming sessions, huh? Yeah, and once this is done, I have to go to sleep, wake up, and play some more Hyrule. Really, it's okay. Yeah, the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, it's okay, but it's not exactly, like, a great game that I have a lot of fun playing. But I don't want to just abandon it, even though I have been playing it semi-daily for over a month. I also don't have, like, any Tears of the Kingdom stuff done yet. Literally none. So it's like, well... Yeah, I guess I could just get started with Tears of the Kingdom, but then leave Age of Calamity basically just dead in the water. You know what? Yeah, it has had its month. I feel like I can do Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe go back to Calamity at some point. Probably won't. Soon to go back to, was it God Eater 3? Like, what exactly is it that I don't like about Age of Calamity? The missions are long, but they're long because they're meant to be long. They're not long because I'm trying to do something silly with them. Like, even if I'm, like, you know, severely over-leveled for the missions, they still take a good long time to do. Okay, you know what? Screw it. She's sitting way too close to the edge or something. I don't know. Like, I seriously just can't hit her like this. No, I literally just can't. Like that, I'm able to. That was fine. Yeah, how many stacks of ice cream have we gone through? 6, 7. We're working on our 8th. And we haven't used our potions yet, which are not major potions. Nothing. Screw it. The bottom mermaid position is dead to me. Accidentally hit the speed up button there. That was weird and maybe arbitrary. $249 left to go. Yeah, there's always a weird balance between I should play games that I haven't played. And, I mean, strictly speaking, I haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom either. I played a nice little chunk of it. Definitely not even most. Did get some hours of playtime on it. I've almost done 100 of this last batch. Right, didn't it stop at exactly 975? Yeah, Azura and I left off tonight talking about how this was basically an impossible challenge to do. And I might just actually be bricked in this game. Just hit a brick wall and know where to go, and then, you know, bloody, what, 6:30 in the morning, just gets a message to me. It's just, I did it. Just like, the whole customization aspect is also part of what I like about playing, like, Magic the Gathering, really. Like, yeah, like, you can make command attacks and just customize them so much that how much you want. I've said before lots of times, I like to make my command attacks based around my characters. And it is kind of interesting, like, the characters influence the decks, but then certain strategies in the decks influence the characters. Like, my want for having a proper Stuffy Doll commander deck influenced my character Ray, and now Ray the character just carries a doll around with her at all times. Yeah, that's it. That's the story of it. I mean, I have a in-lore reason for why the character has a doll, but that's like the... Yeah, it goes right back. Make-believe. So, yeah. Ray, the angel, yeah, she's my OC. It's not lost on me that the alternate commander that I use for the Ray deck is Rarity. Very fitting. Not even so much the alternate commander anymore. That's just like the mainline commander. It's just using Rarity. I'm not joking. The controller is not behaving. Oh, wait, I should probably stop munching on these ICs. Like, how did that not flip and hit? I'm sorry, what? For once in a while, it's just a one particular mermaid position that's just, like, bad. Oh, right, yeah. That position is just always bad. It's weird, because I got the enraged Siren in that position before, right? But now it's just like literally no good position to stand. With the final stretch, I'm definitively more tired than when I started. Much so. You know, whatever, it's fine. I'm dehydrated, that's what I am. 3 solid hours of talking. I am thirsty. I want a drink. I want some nice water. Still rather debating ordering some frozen yogurt and whatnot for grocery delivery. I don't think I will. Yeah, frozen yogurt instead of ice cream. I don't really notice a difference in taste. Especially if it's like the good quality frozen yogurt. I don't really notice the difference in taste, and it has like less than half of the calories. So, yeah. And the cost is, I mean, meh, it's comparable cost. Yeah, like the good frozen yogurt is more expensive than the cheap bulk ice cream, but is cheaper than the good ice cream. When it comes to ice cream, didn't really notice much of a taste difference between the bulk stuff and the good stuff. I don't know, maybe I did get COVID at one point, and because that would explain my lack of taste, but But I mean, I can still taste things just fine, just I never was really one for it's like, oh, there's subtle tones of oak in this, or whatever, stupid. Most of my tasting experience is texture anyway. I don't know what there is to talk about. What, talk about the channel, talk about how it's doing? I don't know, I think I'm getting slightly more views than usual. Or than before. No video has really kicked off yet. Again. Alright. Less than 200 more to go. I am almost at the end. I'm fast forwarding with reckless abandon. I have a feeling that I shouldn't need any more of the ice cream anymore. Yeah. What are you? Just watch, I'm gonna, like, do this whole thing, and then I'll accidentally, like, delete the footage, or, like, my, thumb drive that I have these recordings on is going to, like, run out of space or something, and it's like, oh, no more room, we just deleted all of the whole video. Just cause. Even though it should have, like, 90 gigabytes of room. There should definitely be... Ooh, 1111. There should definitely be more than enough space. In the interest of old games that I want to play again, that I should totally be able to beat, I really, really wish I remember this one particular game that I played, because it was never actually, like, my game. It was on the computer of people who used to host, I think it was, like a golf tournament or something. Not so much a family union, but, like, a friends reunion, whatever. It's like, what, every year, or every few years, I'd be brought along to this person's house, where basically just stay there all day, while all the adults are gone. And, like, the first year, I think the first year, I was, like, the only person there, like, but definitely at least the only kid there. The whole place is weird. Yeah, I think the first year I was, like, the only kid there. So while all the adults went out, I was told that I could, like, just play games on the computer. And they had, like, a whole lot of games on there. And there's this one game, and I just remember... Yeah, I just remember, like, shapes and stuff, like... I remember... It's like grid-based, like tile-based, whatever. Rather simplistic stuff. So like 4 arrows formed in a square. There's like a circle like going between them. And so you can like push one of the triangles out of the way. And then like the circle would like just go. Stuff, and the game kind of like just kept advancing from there. And like I really, really wish I remembered anything more about the game, like say its name. Like I feel like I would remember it if I saw it, because I think it turned into like a puzzle game. It started like really easily and then like kept getting more advanced as it went on. But that place was weird. I think, I'm trying to remember, I think the second year one of my cousins was there, and we basically just, you know, ran around, played in the house all day. They had like, the basement was 2 rooms, and when I say it was 2 rooms, it was one big main room. It was one big main room, and it was like 5 different doors that all led into the same other room. So it's like perfect for doing like, you know, the Scooby-Doo running around thing, because go in one door, come out another. But it's like 4 doors that were all next to each other, and one door that was like on the other side of the basement. It's like, yeah, no, they're all connected together. Like, yeah, all of that was like just one big room. And I think the next year, there was a different kid there. I don't think I knew them, you know, beforehand. But after being told that I was probably going to be, like, the only kid there again, and that apparently this time I wouldn't be able to play on the computer, whatever the case was, I bought my N64, and I bought, like, Super Smash Bros. So I figured it's like, oh, I can play this for, like, all day. And I had still not unlocked Ness. I think I had the other 3 characters, but I hadn't unlocked Ness yet. And myself and this kid, we like worked together through all of the stages playing on normal difficulty, and we found out that like, all enough, if we alternate which stages we do, we are like good enough at the stages that the other is bad at, that we could make it all the way through on normal 3 stock. And we were just about to, like, you know, go for that attempt, and then all the adults came back. It's like, okay, we're here now. Kids, pay attention to us. Okay, the grown-ups are here now. Kids, stop playing. You have to pay attention to the adults now. And this would be a story of, like, and I never got to unlock Ness. Like a few years later, I remember that story. I was like, yeah, I still have my N64. So I just went, booted up Smash Bros. And just, you know, beat normal 3 stock first try. Like, it's like, alright, cool, I got Ness, got all the characters. Well, anyway. Oh yeah, and I remember one other time going there, where there were like 6 or like 8 other kids there. They were all older than me. Like I was like 13, and they were all like 16 through like, I don't know, about 16 or so. My cousin might have been there at the time. I really don't remember. But yeah, there were a lot of older kids there. And we were all, like, you know, there for the day. I think we built, like, a pillow fort or 2. Whatever. Nothing too major. But remember, there was also, like, this really little kid there who was, like, 5 or so, and he wanted to watch cartoons. And all these, like, older teens are like, alright, sure, let's, you know, let's put on some cartoons while we do it. let's put on some cartoons while we do this. Sure, why not? It's like, we're doing our thing, we're talking about whatever we are talking about. Sure, we can have cartoons on for the kid. And I just remember at one point, like, 8 teenagers who all have, like, an air of trying to be, like, tough? Whatever. 8 teenagers all just, like, sitting on, like, a pull-out bed, watching, I think it was, like, Franklin or something. And it's like, oh yeah, that Mr. Bear, like, it's like, he's my man, like, it's like watching, you know, kids' cartoons and just being, like, into them. Just being, like, really into the show. Like, the 5-year-old is just, like, sitting at the edge of the pull-out bed, watching it, and, like, intently not saying anything. All these older kids, they can't just sit and watch and do that. Gosh, I should have tried. Gosh, imagine. I say imagine if Milo Point. No, I don't think Gen 4 was out back then. Speaking of children's programming, anyone bloody remember Crazy Quilt? They used to be my favorite when I was younger. Just a woman in, like, a raccoon puppet or whatever. Just like, hey, let's make arts and crafts and make up a little story. Yeah, let's make arts and crafts and then let's make a story to go with the arts and crafts we made. And, like, that's the episode. That's every episode. I could not tell you a single one of those stories. Just, you know, from my memory. I don't know what it was I loved about it so much. It wasn't the stories, like, maybe it was, like, just the creating things, maybe it's just hey, let's just have fun together kind of thing that I never really got to have with my parents. My mom was always into crafting stuff, but we never did any sort of, you know, arts and crafts, let's make a story together type of thing. Whatevs. I should be over by now. Can we just be done yet? Oh gosh. Running low on the amount left. Gotta say, I really think I'm going to sleep well tonight. I really think I'm going to sleep well this morning. Got myself a nice ball of water. Have a bottle of water, get myself my cat. He's probably already on the bed. I think he is. I think I saw him up there. I still think it would be nice to have my own actual house someday. Be able to just, you know, paint the walls. Be able to just, like, add in shelves. I like shelves. Shelves are useful. Get some nice shelves up, like, close to the ceiling, specifically just for showing off decorations. I have a whole bunch of, like, Build-A-Bear pony plushes. I kind of want to just, like, you know, somehow complete the main 6, even though I don't think they're making Pinkie Pie anymore. I don't think they're making any of the ponies anymore, really. But just complete the collection of the main 6 and just have all 6 of them up on a shelf in, like, in a hallway, in a bedroom, in a living room, somewhere. I don't know. And I have them all just in my living room and kitchen. Gosh. I would love to just have a game I could just lose myself in again. Or in the Blind Forest / or in the Will of the Wisps. I think especially or in the Blind Forest. So I'm playing it and I just wanted to finish, even though it took 8 hours. I was just up all night just playing. It's just... There's just something nice about Metroidvanias where I, like... You always have, like, 5, like... You always have, like, just multiple things that you could do at any given time. So you finish off with something and it's like, oh, well, let's go talk to the wizard about this. Oh, let's... Okay, let's go see the blacksmith about this thing we found. Oh, let's go check out this path over here. Oh, we just got this upgrade. Well, if we go back to this area, we should be able to use this upgrade. Okay, 118. Wasn't it like 5 a minute that I was doing or something? $115. 5 a minute. It should take, what, 20 minutes to do the last 100? It's about 23 minutes, so still less than 4 hours. Okay, cool. I think that one towel game with the shapes I was mentioning earlier, I think it also had like an anti-bullying message, at least in the early levels. But of course, how do I know, right? Gosh. Yeah, speaking of forgotten games, there's that one PS1 game of my nightmares. And I have no way of knowing what the game was. So, there was... So at some point... You know what I should do for my semi-dailies? Bloody... Take the, Oh, it's just holding random buttons. That's what it's doing here. Ooh, 100 left. Yeah, for the semi-dailies, just go through each and every single PS1 JRPG in order. Yeah, in alphabetical order. Because I'm reasonably certain that the nightmare game in question was a JRPG. And I also reasonably certain it was for PS1, because back when I was that age, the only games that I ever rented were PS1 and N64 games, and I've checked through every single N64 game that's been made, and none of them are the game in question. I did find one mystery game that I have forgotten the name of. So I should also play that one again. Gosh, that era of games where, like, you get to a certain part and the game is now just flat out different or something, but you do well enough at the game where you just unlock new stuff for it. I don't know. If you play those old games with the memory of a child, you might know what I'm talking about. But it's mostly like, hey, you beat, you know, level 4, now you go to level 5. This one is space-themed, and now it's like all space-themed tropes and stuff. Because, hey, now you're in space. Bugs Bunny Lost in Time? Anyone? Well, except that didn't really do themed area tropes so much, but still. Themed areas. Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters. Yeah, I still want to find a good partner for that. But I think... Oh gosh, wait. Exploding Taz Time Busters is very much a co-op game. You're supposed to work together to get all the different things. But imagine playing through such a cooperative game like that, but not actually being allowed to communicate with each other. Yeah, two people both connected on like Parsec or something. Like, find some way to both be playing the game together, co-op mode, but no talking between the two of you. The only communication is what little you can manage to do within the game itself. I feel like I know that game well enough. I wanted to try to make a point there. I know the game well enough to like not get lost in it, I think is what I was trying to say, but it's like, it's not saying a lot. Game, if you could come back to OBS, please. There we go. I accidentally hit F, the full screen button. So I unfull screened the game there for a second. Fortunately, everything else seems to be, like, totally fine. Oh gosh, how lovely does that counter fit right in the black bar right there. It's almost like I planned for it to be exactly the perfect size. I didn't, but one could imagine that I planned things. Oh god. I want to be the sort of person who would have friends. It's a really sad quote, but... And, like, I do want to be the sort of person who just have friends, like, just... I remember, back when I was, like, 8. Some morning, I was living with my grandparents. I'll mention that part outright. But some mornings I just wake up and there just be, you know, one of the neighbor kids or one of my cousins just sitting on my bed waiting for me to wake up. And it's like, hey, let's go play. And I'd be all like, alright, let's play. Because fortunately I didn't wear, like, pajamas, so I didn't have to get dressed. I was already dressed. I wonder if that's where my whole not wearing pajamas thing comes from. Like, that happened the first time, and it's like, oh, I can't play right now, I have to change into, like, proper clothes, but somehow I didn't have any proper clothes, and it took, like, a heckin' long time to get any, you know, proper play clothes on, and I just resented that whole thing of not being in the right clothes to play in. That probably isn't where that comes from, but, yeah. Just wake up, there'll be just someone there. It's like, hey, let's do things. And I'm like, alright. nowadays, if it was like in a sense that made sense in context for the person to, you know, be there, I'd probably still be down for it. Like, say if I was staying over at, like, my mom's place, wake up in the morning, my little brother's there, it's like, hey, let's play games together. I'd probably be like, yeah, that's cool, let's do it. It's like, oh, yeah, let's do that. One, 2 to 3, 4. I thought I'd miss it, and I almost did. It's just, what, 62 left? Death of 1,300 cuts. Anyone want to take a guess as to how off my count is going to be at the end? I mean, I feel like it's been pretty accurate, but... I mean, surely it isn't perfect, right? But yeah, I want to be the sort of person who just, like, has a house with, like, you know, tabletop gaming space, whatever, video room with, like, just video gaming space for, like, multiple people, like, just have friends over and we can just, like, play games and stuff together, and that's just, like, a thing that happens. I don't want parties. Like, I don't see the appeal of having so many people over at once that you can't pay attention to all of them. Okay, in the wrong context, that sounds really controlling. But no, yeah, like, having, say, like, 3 people or, like, 4 people over, you can, you know, give each of them the, like, attention. Like, make sure that all of them are doing well, making sure that all of them are having fun. If you have, like, 20 people over, they have to, like, you know... It's like, how are you supposed to, like, properly socialize with everybody? Of course, I'm also the sort of person who's, like, I've never, you know, had 20 friends at once before. I'm not a social butterfly. Less than 50. We're in the flippin' final stretch. 10 minutes to go. Yep, it's still 11:40 in the morning. I'm so glad that time is paused. In the boss room. Or else this would be really particularly bad. See, the thing is, the future bosses shouldn't be this difficult. Because they shouldn't have, you know, water attribute. Fine then. Yeah, I like games where playing through them, you have a lot of different options for what you can do at any given time. So many games are like, you know, go here, do this, go there, do that. But other games, like, say, some like Skyrim, like, yeah, sure, that thing has a plot, technically, but that's just like one of the, you know, storylines to it. Oh no, I'm getting low on health. Yeah, I still have at least 40 more hits in me. It's ready. Alright, cool. Less than 30 to go. I'm finally going to get the win, but the controller is going to just flat out die for good. Right at the very, very end. Someone had to decide to put these little things here. And to, like, give them collision. So, corals. I'm just really glad that this is hopefully going to be over darn soon. Whew, 11. Just 10 to go. Woohoo. You have no idea how much work I also put into setting this up in the first place. Including duping the, you know, including duping 100 air crystals just to see if having 99 wind attack would make any difference. Just to find out, no it doesn't. I did it, and my count was flipping 1 off. Out of 1,300, it was off by 1. Unless its actual health is only 1,299. Probably just off by 1. Are you okay? I don't know. Shut up! Remember anything yet? Nope. I was able to remember a lot of stuff. I don't know, it seems so. Well, sure, but perhaps. I don't know, isn't it dangerous to go to any more caves? There's something going on in our world, I can't just ignore it. You know, I don't know. You're different than most people. Everyone's different than most people. Whatever you used to do before you came to our town, I bet it involved a lot of responsibility. Well, I wish I could just remember. Think you maybe when he comes back, you'll leave? I don't know. Seems like I have to make that decision anytime soon. Yeah. Character gets his memory back. Turns out he was already married. So I was really expecting the fight to be more deadly. So I just have 11 stacks of ice cream. I'm probably just gonna sell at a huge loss. Because I don't have room in my fridge to keep all of these. Okay, well now to go back and only get 10 stacks of ice cream instead of 20. I'm not good warp up. I'm not doing that. Okay. Save. It's high noon. I'm done. Let me sleep, please. I'm done.